Joe Leigh here for Seconds Out with Glenn McCrory at Fight Zone. Obviously tonight's headlined by Cash Ali, but it's been a while since we've caught up here. How have you been finding things at Fight Zone, and how are you tonight?
I've been absolutely thrilled with Fight Zone. It's a fabulous platform, a great concept, and really happy to be part of that and bringing fights all around the country. So yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Nice to be back inside after a summer of being in Sheffield car park.
Joe, it's great to be in Sheffield. It's done so well to get, Sheffield's really been at the forefront of getting sort of domestic fights back on in the UK. And what Dennis and Steve Crump have done has been fabulous.
What do you make of the platform that Fight Zone have created over the last few months?
I love it because what they've done is they broke the monopoly. It's always the big promoters, they get the top line fighters and the rest of the fighters go unnoticed. So this way, kids are getting an equal shot, and we the whole bill's covered. So people that would never get the chance to be on TV get that chance. And I think, I was never with the big promoters. I had to go to America and I had to do it the hard way. So I know exactly how that feels, and it's tough. So this is giving fighters and other promoters. It's everybody's getting work.
Lots to talk about, Glenn, but just on Fight Zone, what can we kind of expect from the rest of the year? Do you have a card in particular that you think stands out?
Do you know what? Off the top of my head, they've got fights. We got fights every week. I don't even know what city I'm in. I think I'm in London. We're in London next week, and then we're going to Scotland. We're going to Turnberry. We're going to show up in Turnberry. So lots of fighters are getting a platform to be on.
Exciting things to come.
Very exciting, very exciting. Tonight's going to be a great night. Good fights on the card, and we're going to see a lot of. What I love about it is we get to see kids coming through. We get to see in the third fight, and you think, wow, he's going to be good. So no, it's a great platform, and just glad I'm on it.
And something that happened last week was very different to what's happening, not with young fighters like it is here at Fight Zone. It's with older fighters. Obviously, Evander Holyfield, at 58 years old, fighting Vitor Belfort, getting knocked out in the first round. I know you were kind of in the mix of people who could have been fighting on those types of cards. What did you make after seeing that stoppage in round one? I mean, Evander Holyfield, from a lot of people's eyes, shouldn't have been in that ring. I don't know who thought he should have been.
No, well, I agree with you. And Evander looked physically that he was in shape, but it just showed the difference that age makes. Your body, you're not the same. Your punch resistance not the same. And I think, in a way, the Roy Jones pulled out of a fight with me, and in hindsight, I'm probably glad he did, because I just think that it was for a reason. And the one thing I wouldn't want to happen is to get injured myself or to injure anybody else, especially a name like Roy Jones. And to see, it was quite sad to see Evander, a once great legend of a fighter that stood in there with the big boys and handled himself and beat them. To see him get beat off off a far less opponent was it was sad.
On the other hand, did it make you want to get in there with him because he was starched and you've obviously teased the comeback?
Do you know what? I think it didn't, because I wouldn't have felt like I had any credibility the way he just crumbled. So that could have been me. So no, I'm kind of glad it didn't go ahead, and I'm hoping that might really just put people off doing it.
So could you safely say the comeback for yourself is probably not going to happen?
No, it's not going to happen. No, I don't think, unless somebody comes up and gives me an offer I can't refuse. But no, I think it would, even then, you know what, your health is more important than wealth. So I think even then I would say no.
I think that was the situation with Evander Holyfield. It must have been an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, I'm definitely, because we spoke at the beginning of the year, me and Evander, because he hinted about us having a fight, and then he pulled out, and he wanted colossal amounts of money just to get negotiations going. So I think they've obviously come and offered him something too good to resist.
If you and Evander did get in the ring and it was September the 11th under the same circumstances, who do you think, how would that fight have gone?
Do you know what? I felt when I was training at the beginning of the year and I was in the gym, I was excited, and I felt that I retired very, very early in my career because I was disgusted with the business. So I didn't feel I had the miles on the clock. I felt fairly fresh, and in my head, I'd never even gotten my peak before I retired. So in my head, I still felt like that. Still felt fresh. But when you see, you never know. It's when you get punched on the jaw, that's that's when the realization comes of what sort of shape you're really in. So no, I think it didn't happen, and it didn't happen for a reason, and I'm happy with that.
All right, let's move on to the heavyweights of today. And next week we've got a big fight. Obviously, Anthony Joshua defending his belts against Alexander Usyk. Talk us through that fight. Who do you think is going to win? I think Alexander Usyk is going to pose a real threat. Maybe people are underestimating Usyk.
I don't think we've seen him undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. I think it'd be very silly to ever underestimate someone with as much credibility and as great a champion as Usyk. I think Joshua certainly has got a fight on his hands, and it's different how it's going to play out because Usyk can box, and he's naturally lighter. The movement will be there, but he can punch as well. So I'll be interested to see how Joshua takes a punch, because in the second Ruiz fight, he very much kept out of the way. He very much was on the back foot, and so he never really got hit. He will get hit. He will get his chin tested against Usyk. That's definitely, if he can get his shot on first, then his power might well tell. I think it's a good fight, and I'm really looking forward to see how Anthony Joshua deals with the situation.
It's probably the toughest fight for Joshua since facing Klitschko.
Yes, I think it causes a lot more problems, and I think people will automatically think he's the smaller man, so that gives him Joshua the benefit, but that poses its own problems. So it's a tricky night. I'm really looking forward to it. I will be there. It's going to be amazing. I've been at the new stadium at Tottenham. Absolutely fabulous place to have a heavyweight championship fight. So it's going to be great.
Why in particular, as you just said, it could cause more problems for Joshua than Vladimir Klitschko? Could you kind of break that down for us?
I think it could because of his movement. Yes, he's not a big guy, Usyk, but also his style, the southpaw stance. How much is that gonna pose a problem? But when you've got the southpaw stance with a guy that's tough, that can punch, with mobility, that just all adds up to a very, very tricky night. So, Joshua is very talented, could just go out there and land a big shot and all be over. But I think Usyk will be around for a while, and I think it will be a very difficult fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight, and then obviously a couple of weeks later we've got Fury Wilder. It's good time for the heavyweight division. Yep. Last topic I want to talk about tonight: Fury Wilder 3. What's going to happen here, Glenn?
Well, do you know what? I think the first fight was a tough fight. It was hard for Fury. Second fight, he was very, very convincing. And remember, now he's had so much more time, extra training. So, and I've never seen him as focused and sort of as happy with himself. He seems to be in a good place. So I'm expecting the very best of Fury, and I think it'll be more of the same. He'll dominate that fight.
I think I probably agree, but the people this time round kind of expect Deontay Wilder to bring a little bit more.
Do you know, can he bring a bit more? I think we've probably seen the best of Wilder. I mean, he's obviously got a punch, but Fury knew how to handle that in the second fight. He knew, put him on the back foot, put him on the back foot, and he couldn't handle it. So I'm expecting a better performance from Fury.
Completely agree, actually. I would ask for your predictions, just as a small part at the end of the video for tonight, for tonight's fight card. However, I know you're on comm, so you probably have to be impartial about that. Listen, Glenn, thanks for your time. Hopefully we can speak again, as you say, as Fight Zone goes around the country. And yeah, nice speaking to you.
Yeah, thanks very much.